Hello, in this video we'll talk about define names or name ranges. So we can define name for a cell range, a function, constant, or a table in Excel. And by using names, you can make the formulas much easier to understand and maintain. And instead of selecting a table or a range, you can just use the name in the formulas. So let's work with it. The first tab says define names, and we need to name the cell range A3 to A21 as expense. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it. So A3 to A21, so all the way here. Once you select it, this is the name box. Right now it says A3 because it starts at A3. So one way is you just select the range that you want to select, and then just go ahead in this name box and type the name that you want. So if I want the name expense as suggested, I will type the name expense. As soon as you hit enter, then this range is now called expense. That's one way to do it. Let me show you another way to do the same thing. So for this, I would go to the formulas tab and hit on define name, which is under the define names right here. So click here and go to define name. We'll type the name that you want to type. So I'm going to call it, let's say, expense, just to be sure. And then it says scope. So there are multiple ways in which you can define scope. So if you want it to be valid, this name to be valid within the whole workbook, you will let it be workbook. If you want a more limited scope, then maybe just this worksheet or something, you can select that. And then comes refers to. This is where you will select your range. So you would go ahead and select A3 to A21 like this. And then all you need to do is hit enter. In my case, I already created this name, so I'm just going to hit cancel. Now we just named the cells A3 to A21 as expenses. Now we need to change it from expense to expense cat. For this, we would go to define name section, and then we have something called as name manager. So let's click on name manager, and it will show you all the names which have previously been defined. I would double click this and go edit it. Earlier, this name was called as expense. I am going to go ahead and call it expense cat as suggested. Okay, so now I have just changed the define name. You will see expense is no more available and the new name is expense cat. I will close out of it. Now let's go to edit name range 2 worksheet, and in this worksheet we have to edit and pre-existing name Feb to include the cells C3 to C22. So let's go to the formulas tab and the name manager. Here's Feb. And by the way, if you don't find something, then see if you can change the scope. And then I'll edit it. We have, right now it says C3 to C19. We have to change it to make sure that it now refers to C3 to C22. So all the way to C22. Hit OK. Now Feb has a different range, so close out of it. We have edited an existing range. Let's go to the next one. It says delete name range. So once again, let's look for the instruction. It says delete the name range Jan. Do not delete the data. So I don't want you to go ahead and delete the data. You just need to change the name Jan by deleting it. So go to the name manager. Here's the range or the name range. I would go ahead and hit delete. Are you sure you want to delete the name? Yes, so it's only deleting the name. For this range, the data will still be there. So you see it's deleted. Close out of it. Next, table names. So earlier we said that tables can also be given names. Let's go there. table names. So it says change the name of the table to expense table. Okay. The easiest way to do a table name is if you click anywhere on the table, you will see table design appear on the top. So you go there, and then right here you have table name. Right now this table is called table 134. Let's go ahead and change the name there to expense TBL as suggested, and just hit enter, and it will be named. We can also check that name by going to Formulas tab, Name Manager, and then now it's called Expense TBL here. By the way, you can also use the Name Manager to do New and then give the name of the table. So let's go to the next tab. This one is Find Name Range, and it says find the name range average Jan and clear its contents. The easiest way to do that is to go to the Home tab, and then here you have the options for find and select. I would use go to, and go to, and all the names that have been defined in this workbook are here, so I can just say go to this. Or you can also type a cell reference if you needed that. In this case, I'll just say go to average Jan, hit OK. My cursor will now go to that particular range. All I need to do is the clear contents in this cell. So clear all, or clear format, or clear contents as the question asks you. In this case, just clear contents. So that's what you need to do there. Next one is name in formula. So how do we use the names in formula? In cell B3, enter a formula that divides total in B22 by the name range numcat. So I need to go to B23, and then I need to divide the total by numcat. And this, we already have a name called numcat. So just type the name, and sometimes you will also get the suggestion. That's what you need to do here. So let's make sure total B22 divided by name range numcat. That's what we have done. See how easily, instead of typing B25, I just type the name in there. The benefit of using name range in formula is that a lot of times you may have to drag the formula. For example, if I drag the formula like this, and for every one of these, I need the averages to be calculated by dividing the total by number of categories, then the number of categories is going to stay the same for all of these formulas. So you will see how this formula when dragged, C22 by numcat, D22 by numcat, E22 by numcat. So the formula stays the same because we have a name range when I want one cell in all the formulas. So it's very helpful in that case.